Hey guys, it's Brindley. Sorry I'm a few minutes late tonight. I was wrapping up a call with someone, and it's actually funny. Tonight's topic I want to talk about, and it has to do with time. And I learned early on in this whole journey, I learned about time. A few people taught me some things about time. The first ones are two people that I look up to and I respect and admire. And I've studied when I started studying becoming a master of time and time management, which is something that I coach and lead a lot of folks to. Two individuals came up, and I wanted to read you some quotes that they shared. And those two people are Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. And Warren Buffett actually celebrated his 90th birthday this week, actually. And so if you look that up, Bill Gates actually wrote an article celebrating him, and there were some pretty neat things about Warren Buffett. And if you've ever heard me teach on leverage or time management, you hear me tell some of my favorite Warren Buffett stories because he's got some really great stories. But here's what they say about time. Warren says the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. And then he says, it's the only thing you can't buy. I mean, I can buy anything I want, basically, but I can't buy time. And then Bill goes on to say that you control your time. Sitting and thinking may be a much higher priority. It's not a proxy of your seriousness that you have filled every minute of your schedule. And then Warren also goes on to say again, I better be careful with it. There is no way I will be able to buy more money. And my friend Ben Kenny is the first one that I ever heard say it. He said, the one thing that we all have in common, you, me, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, you're like, what do I have in common? They're billionaires. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. The difference is how we choose to use it. And I learned probably a few years ago to start counting minutes instead of hours and days, to count the minutes, because we underestimate how much we can get done in a very short amount of time. And so when I started counting minutes, I was able to say no to more because I knew the value of a minute. And I challenge you to ask yourself, do you know your hourly rate? Have you determined how many hours you work a week and how much income you actually net at the end? That's after taxes. That's after anything you have to pay out of your paycheck. It's how much money actually gets direct deposited into your account. Do you know what that hourly wage is? And then are you doing things to raise your hourly wage, or are you doing things to lower your hourly wage? So for instance, if you would like your hourly wage to be $100 and right now it's 20, what are you doing in your life that you could pay someone less than $20 an hour to do so that you can go do more things that will raise your hourly rate to that $100? Some of the first things that I leveraged off of my plate were obviously housekeeping items. So anything as far as cleaning, laundry, taking out the trash, filling up my gas tank. Ben taught me that one too. I don't pump my own gas anymore. And then, doctor's appointments, the time that it takes to sit on a phone and make an appointment, picking up the dry cleaning. Those are things that we tell ourselves, oh, well, if I do it, it's free. Well, no, it's not free. You're paying yourself, because what could you be doing with all of that time if you weren't picking up the dry cleaning, pumping your own gas, taking out your trash, or cleaning your house? That could be part of your 24 hours, your minutes that you're doing things that are increasing your hourly rate rather than lowering it. So we have to learn that time is the only resource that we cannot get more of. So we have to protect it. We have to treat it like the gold that it is, and make sure that we're maximizing every single minute to its full advantage so that we can have the life that we want, and we can have a life by design. And every time you say yes to something that lowers your hourly rate, you're saying no to your future. You're saying no to your life by design. I read something this morning, and I read it to my team on our stand-up, that it's about living life right now. It's not about, oh, I'll start living life when I retire, or I'll start living life when I fall in love, or I'll start living life when I get that awesome job, or I'll start living life when I build a team. No, it's about starting to live life today. And the first step that we can take is, how are we using our time? How is our schedule outlined? Are we setting up our schedule? You know, one of my mentors says, if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. What does your calendar tell me? Show me your calendar and I'll show you how you value time. Show me your calendar and I'll show you how you respect time. So a few things that I always like to give you guys tips is, I know, Brindley, I don't know how to say no to things. I don't know how to not let the distractions come in. So here's a couple things that I would challenge you to do. Number one is determine your hourly rate. How much do you work for an hour based on the amount of money that you bring in? And it can be a rough average, right? And put that number on a Post-it note and put it in front of you all day. And when something comes up and it's a distraction, or it's something that's going to take you away from anything that produces income in your life, I want you to ask yourself, is it worth that amount of money? So if it would take you 2 hours and your hourly rate is $100, is it worth $200? Because that's how much you're giving up by saying yes to that distraction or saying yes to that thing. Because remember, every yes has to be validated by 1,000 no's. So what are you saying no to when you say yes to something else? So that's number one. Number two is create a not to do list. What are all the things that you're doing right now that you shouldn't be doing or that you won't do? And then also create a stop doing list. So 2 lists, what I'm not going to do going forward and what I'm going to stop doing right now. Because it's not raising my hourly rate, it's lowering my hourly rate. I'm going to stop doing the things that do not create purpose and intent with my minutes, and I'm going to start doing the things that do. Also, start saying yes how. A lot of us allow distraction and things to come into our lives because we're afraid to say no. We don't know how to say no. And so instead of saying no, let's say yes how. Instead of no why, let's say yes how. For instance, I had someone come up to me recently and ask me if I could go to dinner with them. So I do what I always do. I pulled out my calendar and I looked. And instead of saying, no, I can't go to dinner with you this week, I said, yes, I can go to dinner with you on September, I think it was like the 11th. Would that work for you? And this person said, yeah, works great. Because he didn't necessarily say, let's have dinner tomorrow. And if I, in the past, I would have thought that was the expectation. Well, I can't put him out 2.5 weeks. Well, why can't I? Because remember, by saying yes to him, I'm saying no to other things. So if that's the first free time on my calendar, then that's what I need to do. Now, if that doesn't work for him, then we can work on a win-win for one another. So instead of saying, no, I can't do dinner and this is why, which you don't have to explain anything. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Simply change it into a yes how. Yes, I can do that for you, and this is how I can do it. And if that doesn't work for them, then that's their choice. That's their decision. And be polite and firm in your yes how. Do not allow your people pleasing or to feel bad or to worry about what others will think, because it's about your life by design, not theirs. And what they think about you, we've talked about, right? It's none of your business. Remember that no is a complete sentence. Again, you don't have to explain yourself. And always suggest viable alternatives. Work to find a solution if you have to say yes how to something and it doesn't work for the other person. Work together to find a viable solution that works for both of you, because we say it has to be a win-win. Win-win or no deal. And just remember, to be truly productive, you must practice productivity habits. And so counting your minutes is going to allow you to be more productive. So instead of looking at hours or days, remember, minutes lead to hours, hours lead to days, days lead to weeks, weeks lead to months, months lead to years. So when we start counting our minutes, we make everything to come more purposeful and more intentional. So I hope this helped. If you would like to reach out, I'm always here. You can direct message me or 727-512-9098. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.